Disconnected for a second there. Sorry about that. But welcome back to the Crazy J Show. I'm your host, Crazy J, and welcome back to Vampyr. The internet just disconnected for a second, so we're back to this.
What kind of answers did you get?
I knew nothing of your...
Alright, blah,
Lady Ashbury in the sewers? Now that's a sight I wish I'd seen.
She said she was your friend, and that she sought the identity of your maker. So I answered her questions.
Did anyone see you? It's a long way from the dock sewers, and hunters are patrolling the streets here.
Who said I took the streets? How do you think I survived for centuries in this city without ever being seen? I know all her secrets.
Lady Ashbury? You know her? Tell me what's going on.
The lady approached me but a few nights ago, wanting to meet the sewer skulls. Once she questioned Harriet Jones. She agreed to help us.
Harriet Jones is still with you then? How is she doing?
Harriet remains angry, but is recovering slowly. Her mind is twisted, but at least her body is healing.
Tell me what is going on.
The lady asked us to keep an eye on your mortal doctor friend while you were away. We spotted the hunters. They were discussing plans to attack tonight.
Wait, slow down. I need to ask you something.
I'm listening, but I do not have time to waste, so be quick.
Why do I feel like Lord Redgrave was particularly irritated to see you? Far more so than the average Skull, if I may say.
Because I used to know him quite well. And he is afraid I may remember who he really is.
You're Elizabeth's informant. You're the one who told her about Lord Redgrave's lies regarding his lineage.
Yes, but my words were not meant to hurt or threaten. I simply told the story of the sewer skulls, and of so many other forgotten children.
How did Elizabeth find you?
She presented herself humbly at our gate, and asked if we knew of any ancestral vampires hiding in London. She asked about Ascalon. She asked about many things.
Why did she come to you?
I am old Bridget, the buried memory of the city. She sought the silent truths. Truths I have kept hidden for so long.
What do you think of her?
Her soul is good, yet tainted with a deep sadness and the scars of ancient wounds. Time does that to us immortals, for we have so much to dwell upon.
Where is Lady Ashbury right now?
She said she will go home. She needed to speak with some old friends first, though. Do not worry, young Ekon. She is no fool, and just as strong as you.
No time to lose, then. I must go there right away.
I shall return to my den. Have you a message for the lady? Should I see her before you?
Yes. Tell her I love her.
Is this still unknown to her? Go now and take care, young Ekon, for the flames are rising.
I gotta get back to the fucking doctor as soon as possible. Why is there so much loading? Load already. It's not that hard. I ain't no game creator, but I have been around enough to actually understand how fucking mechanics work. I was a beta tested a lot of fucking games. A lot of them. Why? May I guess your fucking troubled history? No? Good. here, and then from there go fucking bridge. I mean, I could just fucking travel across the one area. That would take
You London vampires are so...
Fuck off, you fucking vampire. I'm more of a fucking surgeon than anything else. Well, then again, I'm more of a psychopath. Great time! Woohoo! The ugly wolf. We gotta hurry. Hurry, 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 hurry! And loading. Fuck. Why is there so many screens? No, 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 no. Fucking what the hell's wrong with you, motherfucker? There we go.
What is this truck? Other... The vampire hunter's here already. Those bastards. What have they done to Edgar? Looks like he's wounded. I better follow the blood.
You go up fucking... Wait, there's a top floor? This is like some sort of elevator that goes all the way up? Or all the way down? I don't know. Questions, 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 no answers. What is a question without an answer? What is an answer without a question? In order to create a question, you require an answer. In order to have an answer, you require a question. It's one and the same. Fuck, that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to no one. Not even me. Just random gibberish from a map. What I like to say. Looks like it is on top.
Ultraviolet curtains and Ori Calvin powder. Dr. Swansea's always been a resourceful bastard. I bet he never told you he had this installed in case of a vampire attack. Says a lot about how much he trusts you.
What have you done with Edgar?
Don't worry. We don't kill humans. Even if your friend is deserving of a little punishment for what.
What are you talking about?
We know everything. Swansea and you created this bloody epidemic. You aim to unleash another disaster, just like William Marshall did.
No, I'm trying to put an end to it. Just like you are.
You're its progeny, aren't you? Where is the monster hiding? It's still in England, isn't it?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Jeffrey, please listen to me.
No tricks. That shit won't work on me. We've found proof in the theater. Doris Fletcher was your first experiment. Now where is Marshall? Speak! So much for modern technology. Time for the tried and true. Do you know what this is, Beast? This is a drop of King Arthur's blood. The blood of a true defender of Britain. Stronger than your evil powers.
This is ridiculous. We're losing precious time.
True enough. Soon I'll bring your head before your coward of a father. If you're so innocent, why does simple light burn you so much? Show some style. The blood of a true defender of this land will protect me.
Gotcha, motherfucker.
We are the guardian of justice. Priwen shall prevail.
You can't accept the fact we're not enemies, can you?
We always have been, and we always will be. Of all the evils that threaten mankind, your kind are the worst.
I'm not saying we could be friends, you and I. But perhaps we could collaborate to put an end to this epidemic.
Never! We are Priwen. We do not negotiate. We do not compromise.
There is no way you'll ever let me be, McCullum. You'll always hunt me down, won't you?
There is no escape, Leech. Kill me now. For there is no way you can sway me to your ideals.
That's where you're mistaken.
What do you mean?
I'll make you a vampire. I'll make you one of us.
No! Kill me!
Prepare yourself, Hunter. You're about to be
Might as well make him one of
Just
us to
like
make it even
me.
better. Fucking
No!
When I kissed you,
don't like this guy.
I had no idea what I was doing. But now I do. Consider this my kiss of Judas. Welcome to the world through the looking glass.
I made two vampires today. A rich guy and that guy. One guy is deserving of his punishment. The other one, well, the rich guy kind of would be useful later on. Why not? Are you load in yet? No? Okay, we're gonna wait here. We're gonna wait. We're just gonna wait here patiently. Need to load in. Please load in.
Another night with the glorious good.
Now I gotta versus Avenger's house.
You're mine, Vampyr!
So I need to go over to the theater. Okay.
Best be moving. Get them weapons ready! We've...
Go hacksaw. Activate. Yeah.
Filthy piece of shit!
Boom, boom, boom.
Grenade!
No explosion, right?
It ain't you! Monster!
Maybe I should have went to a hideout and picked up some ammo or something. Alright, while this is loading, I'm gonna go get myself some coffee. Coffee. That's fucking...
So Priwen never left Doris's theater after they invaded. They must be holding Edgar here in their new headquarters.
Alright, coffee. And action.
See them? He's dead! Die, vermin!
I just finished reading Doris Fletcher's journal. As painful and dreadful as it was, my God, the woman planned to see everyone in London afflicted by infecting all who would come to her. Next play, it helped me understand greatly what is going on. Doris Fletcher's real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of some Harriet Jones who has been treated as a patient for a long time at the Pembroke Hospital. She clearly hated her mother, but used her fame and notoriety to see her while visiting the poor and sick in the East End. I don't know exactly what happened then, but this is how her mother infected her before returning to the theater, and how she turned into that monstrous, that the leech known as Jonathan Reed finally defeated. The presence of that vampire in the same hospital where Harriet Jones was treated can't be a coincidence. I am convinced he is deeply involved with the vampire plague going on in London right now. I am also convinced Watson is an accomplice and that those two are planning something more terrifying than anything the guard has ever faced. Maybe I should take some time to read the old books and memorize the guard. Still process to get some answers. It may prove useful in the meantime. I better send some patrols to investigate what is occurring at Pembroke Hospital. Alright, it took me 2 days to pierce through the dusty registers and books we keep in the vault. God, I hate losing time like this. The search did prove fruitful for once. I found 2 pages that could be related to our present situation and a copy of William Marshall's memoirs. I took them with me to read more carefully. This creature Marshall says he fought in 1666. Fletcher disease, infection, hate or of the living, a desire to see the cities ransacked. I have no doubt now the bloody old leech of William Marshall is behind all this and that he is back. This could be our greatest accomplishment if the guard could at least find and destroy that old bastard. I believe that Marshall did in 1666 exactly what Reed is now trying to do. Did the creature this disaster escape their will? Is it why Marshall destroyed him in 1666 and Reed did the same with Doris Fletcher before she became such a creature? I don't know, but those two are clearly working together and Swanson is helping them. I will immediately give orders to him and him arrested and interrogated. As for Reed, I'll destroy that evil beast myself, and then we'll deal with William Marshall and this disaster thing. Brenwyn will prevail once and
Doris
for all.
Fletcher was about to become a disaster. I'm getting close to having all the evidence.
This is no place for you, sir. You're mine!
Interesting. Oof, someone got dragged.
It's locked, all right.
Until further notice, this safe place will be used to store sensitive evidence. It must always be locked. If you need to access it, just find me on the last floor to get the key, and bloody remember to bring it back to me when you're done, Brody. The last...
I should find the key to that box.
William Marshall's memoir. The Brotherhood of the St. Paul's Stool finally agreed to meet me in London. They proposed to meet inside the new Cathedral of St. Paul. I like the wit and these three of these men. What a symbol to choose the place where I defeated this disaster, but also the place where I fell. I agreed to their proposition there in the second silence of the church and under the eye of God. They respectfully listened to me. They acknowledged my victory against this evil creature, the the eater of stars, who only wished to spread death and pestilence all around her. Since they acknowledged my will to save London in 1666, they heard my request, my burning desire to stop the blood of hate. Their primitive promise, the blood of hate. I've literally read that more than once in this fucking game. Their primitive promise to come back to me with an answer. The primitive St. Paul wrote back to me with just a name, the tier of angels. According to him, this ancient artifact could heal anything, cleanse any blackened soul, and purify my blood. Blessed be the Lord. It took me more than 100 years to find a cure for the blood of hate, but I finally have found it. Soon the rage shall end, and soon I may repair the wrong I did and cleanse my failures. Now all I need to do is retrieve the necessary ingredients to create the artifact, blood of the purest heart mixed with the blood of a king. To find such rare ingredients is not what worries me the most, for time is on my side. It's the last part that worries me. Pure essence of garlic. Garlic? I'm afraid it was will literally hurt like hell when I drink the antidote. But if that's the price to pay to cleanse my soul and correct my mistakes, I am ready to endure this excruciating pain.
Blood of a pure heart? Garlic? Blood of a king? I don't understand. Perhaps this is what McCullum drank. I had better keep that in mind. It's locked, all right.
So the last floor. Does it mean like the top floor?
It's locked, all right.
Oh, shit. Wait, I got locked in? This doesn't fare well. I sense something bad's gonna happen.
Edgar. Edgar, can you hear me?
Jonathan, is it really you?
Easy. Easy. Save your strength. I'm getting you out of here.
Don't try to spare me. As a physician, I know all too well when it's too late. Punctured lung, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. An accurate diagnosis, wouldn't you say?
Edgar, what happened?
They wanted me to confess. Beat me black and blue.
Jeffrey McCullum ambushed me at the Pembroke Hospital. He was convinced you and I were responsible for the Skal epidemic.
I never imagined that self-righteous fanatic would dare to attack us in the open. What became of him?
I put him in a somewhat delicate position when I made him an immortal.
Really? You sure that was the wisest course of action?
Time will tell. The most intriguing part of his accusation was that you and I were the pawns of some ancient vampire.
William Marshall. Yes, they tortured me to make me confess the same nonsense.
I trust you, Edgar, but the Guard of Priwen is onto something.
What do you mean?
William Marshall, for example. You speak of him as if you know him. How is that?
Jonathan, I cannot say I'm ready for another round of questions.
Why would the Guard of Priwen believe you and I created the vampire epidemic?
Maybe due to our profession. Because I offered you shelter in my hospital.
Ooh, that's hot. I love it.
What can you tell me about William Marshall?
Not much. History paints the story he was the greatest knight who ever lived. Amongst the immortals, he had a yet greater legend.
Why would he deserve such a reputation?
I cannot say. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole has next to no intelligence on him. All I know is that he's supposed to be the oldest of all the British vampires.
Why is the Guard of Priwen so obsessed with him?
He was the only ancient vampire to escape the first great hunt launched by the Guard of Priwen in 1854. They believe he's an evil creature plotting his return.
While investigating the epidemic, I read some of McCullum's findings. I think you have some explaining to do.
I have nothing to hide, Jonathan. Nothing at all.
Do you know Doris Fletcher's real name?
No. I'm afraid not.
Her real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of Harriet Jones.
What do you want me to say, Jonathan?
Do you remember when we suspected Sean Hampton of killing Harriet Jones?
Yes. The terrible episode that came as a shock to us all.
Harriet Jones faked her own death. When I found her in the sewers, she confessed she wanted everybody to pay for what happened to her.
That woman was extremely bitter, full of hatred and festering anger.
Doris Fletcher visited her mother at the Pembroke Hospital. That's how she first got infected.
I know nothing about that. Miss Fletcher once came to visit the sick. That is all I know.
No, Edgar, there is more. Doris Fletcher was Harriet Jones's daughter. They exhibited the same symptoms: blind hate and strong physical mutation.
What does this sad story have to do with us?
Do you know where we are? Doris Fletcher's theater. This is where that hateful creature plotted to spread the epidemic across London.
I only briefly met Miss Fletcher once when she visited the Pembroke Hospital. You say it was to see her mother. She seemed like such a sweet and graceful woman.
My point exactly. The disease turned her into a bitter soul, driven by vengeance just like her mother. A symptom of all the infected patients.
Certain diseases are known to produce similar effects. Rabies, for example. And rabies is not the devil at work.
Come on, Edgar. Don't you see the pattern here? The epidemic, the link between Doris and Harriet, the suspicion of McCullum?
How could I? I never saw Harriet Jones again after she fled the hospital.
Doris and Harriet shared more than a hidden family bond. They were the embodiment of the epidemic and are linked to the Pembroke Hospital. Come on, Edgar, this is no coincidence.
I swear I'm at a complete loss. All I did was administer vampire blood to cure old Harriet. There was no evil plan, no diabolical plot.
You did what?
I tested the regenerating and healing properties of vampire blood on Harriet Jones. My only intention was to find the cure for influenza, I swear.
Whose blood did you use? William Marshall's? Mine?
Lady Ashbury's. While transfusing her with human blood, humanely appeasing her hunger, I also kept samples of her blood for my research.
You used her blood on Harriet Jones? My God, Edgar, that's unethical. You betrayed 2 of your patients at the same time.
Right, I admit it. I boldly ventured into experimental realms, but I've killed no one to appease my thirst for knowledge, Jonathan. I'm no murderer.
I never asked to become what I am, Edgar. You chose to conduct your rogue experiments.
You have worked beside me. You saw what I'm doing at Pembroke Hospital. Jonathan, you know I'm not an evil soul. Just another victim of this tragedy.
No, Edgar, you are not going to die. Unless you want to.
What do you mean?
I can save you, Edgar. I can turn your broken body into one like mine.
You truly would? After all I've done, after all that's been said, you would offer me this gift?
I have no way of knowing which punishment would be worse, Edgar. But it is not for me to decide. So?
Oh, please, Jonathan, please. I beg you. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always searched for.
Very well, then. Prepare to die and be reborn. To face an eternity of guilt.
I'm ready. Oh, indeed, I am ready.
how many times I've cut my arm in this game. How many vampires I've created. Because I already created 3. There's another scene I have to create another one. I'll create 4. Maybe even an army. Oh, it's loading again. Dying seconds. And failed? Prepare to fight the disaster.
It's locked.
Remember your vows, friends! Over there!
I have it. I can now open the box.
Fear no evil. Stay close, guys.
There's the box down here. Is that door that I wasn't able to get in?
I cannot enter. I really don't know if I should read this.
The cards worry me, for they keep on announcing the coming of an impressive bad, terrible danger. But to stray from this awful war, I better call back though. I'm going to tell them to report an unusual event. Something is definitely going on. The cards keep hiding what is approaching, and that can only mean something powerful is moving, something so strong and potent. The cards cannot fully reveal its nature. All the but one are back in Landon. His mission and is too critical to be aborted. The only notable event is frequent meeting between Lucius Dawson and the Escalon Club. It's nothing to worry about for now. A terrible epidemic is upon us, and I don't like this at all. Legends have been sent back overseas to protect them from the disease, but also to find any clue about the origin of the plague. I am not totally convinced this is all neutral. In the past, we had many cases of vampire activity linked with sudden epidemics. We must remain vigilant. All over the world, hundreds of thousands dead, broken families, despair, affliction deeply rooted in our hearts. This epidemic is a curse. Reports from every country tells me this catastrophic has catastrophe has no boundaries, no limits. The good news is that the disease seems to have withdrawn. The bad news is the cards keep on foreseeing a calamity. The cards were right from the beginning. A calamity is upon us. The best sign may be the return of the great guard of Purin. Geoffrey McCollin himself is back in London. He is actively acquiring and recruiting members for a new campaign. Whatever I may think McCallan's methods, I must admit he has a good nose for danger. We must all stay alert. Did not waste any time. At least 3 of his warhounds have been ordered to survey me. Some old hate, some old methods. Once again, they will inquire about all my moves, all my acquaintances, and all my actions. I know they are convinced I am immortal, plotting against them, against humanity, stupid hunters. I have no time for this. I may have my secrets, but I am not the conspiring foe thereafter. But they are right about something. The conspiracy, the catechism will not be avoided. There we go. For the second time since I am the primate of St. Paul, I fear for this city's skulls are invading London and the entire country. No, not invading, they are already here. They tell me that foreign vampires are arriving from all over Europe, delighted to get their share of innocent and suffering flesh. This country as we know it may be on the verge of oblivion. We still don't know what is maneuvering against us. The cards are still worrying me, as if the real danger was not revealed yet. I am convinced that the Guard of Burin is about to launch a second great hunt. This is the only explanation to the patterns of activities employed by McCallum. Control of strategic command posts all over the city, creation of many new weapons, robbery of too quickly finance this expensive undertaking. I know my name will be on the list if they decide to hunt down all identified vampires in England, but I refuse to submit to this threat. A Pre-win attack is imminent. Scouts and patrols are getting closer every night. I can't even blame them, for the situation is critical. A few reports even claim the horned vampire may be back, but their blindness never ceases to astonish me. How can they keep considering me a foe? Have I not proved I am their ally? Have I not done all I can to protect the mortals? This is my last entry in this journal. May God have mercy on our souls.
I can't believe it.
Holy shit, that's a lot of information. Yeah, I can't believe it either. Trust me, can't believe it. Fuck am I hearing those guys? Like, there's no one here. It's just me. I'm here. I don't. It's just there. Maybe it's just audio cues. They're fucking everywhere or something. You know how games put audio cues in certain areas? Maybe that's what's happening. I don't understand it at all, but hey, we're dealing with it. I want to eat some of this now. That's hot. I love it. That's good coffee. It's not shit because I added milk this stuff. girl sleeping or something?
I will return later.
Got like a fucking scar on.
So Harriet Jones became the original carrier when Edgar gave her vampire blood. I must tell Elizabeth.
Murdering bastard! Gone out like tingling. You!
Yeah, I still don't understand how the fuck this. It's a slight scar. Maybe it's from my cat Isabel. Usually sleeps on my bed, so maybe she's actually scratching. Well, those are new. Those haven't showed up. Those are sent to me from yesterday. Actually, surprised those popped up today. New to me.
What good fortune brings you back to me, Jonathan? What is it, my dear?
I'm afraid it's bad news, Elizabeth. The worst, actually.
Please, speak up.
Edgar is no longer in McCullum's grasp. I resolved that matter.
Where is our good friend now? Is he well?
Of a sort. His injuries were mortal. I had no choice but to make him one of us. To save him, or to punish him.
To punish him? I fail to understand. And what is the source of this cold tone in your voice?
Edgar Swansea was responsible for the Skull epidemic, Elizabeth. It was he who unleashed the deadly scourge upon London.
What? Are you certain? This is the most terrible accusation of all.
He confessed everything to me. He sought to cure the disease, to exploit vampire blood to stop the epidemic. But he unwittingly gave birth to a catastrophe.
All those poor victims. How could he do it? What happened?
Edgar's behavior was beyond lunacy. He had neither the discipline, knowledge, nor the proper facilities to conduct blood experiments.
I must say I'm shocked, Jonathan. Who would have thought it? And the poor patient. Let me guess. It was Harriet Jones, was it not?
Yes. That explains how Doris Fletcher was infected, and how she became an Ichor. She secretly visited her mother at Pembroke.
Then we have no choice. We must act quickly, Jonathan. We must return to the sewers and put an end to the threat poor Harriet embodies.
I have one more matter to discuss with you. Harriet Jones was the primary case, but do you know what a healthy carrier is?
There is a tone in your voice that frightens me, Jonathan. What are you trying to say?
It was your blood Edgar used for his experiment on Harriet Jones.
What? No. No. This can't be. Oh.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
No, I have to go.
What do you mean?
Leave me alone. Save the city, Jonathan. Save what can be saved.
Elizabeth, I need answers. Why did your blood
Stay
cause
away
this?
from me. Please. I swear I never was your
Wait!
enemy.
No! Elizabeth!
I also have to go back to the one guy and give him back the journal.
Now would be a good time to blend the recipe Marshall used when he fought the disaster. I think I know where to find what I need.
First, I need to check on Dr. Swansea to see how he's doing. I'm to fucking feel like this.
This is no place for you, sir.
Isn't it? Get it! Where's it gone?
More loading. How much loading do you get with this? Really? Serious.
Jesus, I've never seen so.
The Pembroke is so lucky to have Dr. Reed, you know. I met him in New York once.
If only there were more of us, with less resignation and more determination.
I know I can count on you. I wish I could say the same for the others.
You look exhausted. You're pushing yourself too hard. You don't have to bear the burdens walls of this hospital alone.
Good evening, Milk.
Good evening, Doc.
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
So this area is now open. Maybe this is where Dr. Swansea is. He's up there. Not sure. I'm gonna check up here. If he's not up here, I'm going back down to try and find him. It says he has new dialogue options, so maybe he's up here. He's not there. He must be inside the primary building somewhere. Somewhere. Up here. I'm gonna have to fucking take a nap as my character so I can use some of the XP I obtained. But I know I'm gonna have to fucking set my character up pretty well. Might have to fucking try and level up a bit. Figure out the best way, because if everything is, Harriet Jones is pretty much boss. A big boss. So there's probably gonna be some fucking issues there. I still don't know why Harriet Jones, that name rings a bell somewhere. I might have read it somewhere. I don't know why that's fucking a name that pops up in my head. Even before I met the character, the NPC in the game, like it just was something inside my head. I don't know if it was a history book or something. Somewhere I've heard that name.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doc.
Good
I
evening.
need blood, Doc.
Good evening, Miss Houghton.
I need blood, Doc.
I'll leave you, Mistress. Good evening, Nurse Hawk.
Good evening, Doc.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
What steps are you prepared for more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
And what about your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
Goodbye, Nurse. Good evening.
Evening,
Good.
The Goswicks came here in the first place.
Where is he?
I'm quite busy right...
And good...
Goodbye. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye.
Wait, is he in my room? I'll check his office one more time.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Let's fuel up. Following night, Landon lived near in fear of just delayed investigations before strange experimental treatments. This society of professionalism is in Pembroke Hospital, Whitechapel, where pathology was discouraged a long time ago. The Pembroke administration hides behind a dislocation and those of us who know any of their patients or worse were among them are aware of their deceit in this temple devoted to dread. You will have to pay to get a bed. You will catch illness you never knew existed, and your corpse will be relieved of its possessions in the morgue. Here, patients die overnight of wounds they never bear upon their arrival, and they call them accidents. I briefly interviewed Dr. Swanson, head of the administration, to claim a pandemic, timor mortis, me, fear of death confounds me. Before forcing us out of the establishment, quotes in Latin will not be enough to keep us away from their volunteering. Are welcome to join me tomorrow morning in front of the hospital to demand clear facts about the state of this medical institution. Come in numbers. Hostile. Okay, so this place is even hostile. Alright, what about this place? While all of his friends and relatives expected the sad news of his death to be announced soon, Swanson, co-founder and head of the Darson and Dulson Company, has made an astonishing appearance at the last meeting of London City Council Board of Health. For more than 2 hours, the slowly dying magnate accused 3 members of the board of criminal carelessness before demanding their immediate expulsion, supported by Lord Redgrave, the Earl of Boston, who signed in the meeting. Ellis was then ordained as the new administrator of the LCCBH. Very much living immediately ordered the launch of his grand plan to save London. The creation of a quarantine wall around the West End to protect the more and districts and contain the Spanish flu and the already impacted areas. Of course, many inhabitants of the targeted districts are now protesting vigorously, arguing that their health is more than ever at risk since the cases of infections can only grow in the quarantined areas, but that's only because they lack the moral fiber of great men like Ellis Dawson. Every nation, every empire, when facing a deadly peril, such as the Spanish flu, must make sacrifices. It is by accepting these necessary sacrifices that the real patriots will serve the empire and its interests during these dark times. Why is he like... Oh, I didn't save these guys. I didn't save a lot of these. There he is.
Jonathan, my dear, I can never thank you enough.
Thank me? For what?
Come now, you know what I mean. I am... well, I'm just like you.
I'm glad you like it.
How could I not be happy? You offered me the ultimate freedom. More than I ever could have dreamt of.
Have you news of Geoffrey McCullum? I'm sure both of you would have quite an interesting discussion after recent events.
He left the hospital without being treated for the severe beating you gave him. We'll meet again soon enough.
Does not the prospect of meeting him as a vampire thrill you? The two old enemies reunited post-mortem.
Maybe we could even share a glass of... wine. I really don't know if he will accept his condition. He has spent his life beheading leeches, you know.
What will you do now that you are immortal?
Experiment, my dear colleague. I have an eternity to make scientific progress. I could be the only scientist able to undertake extreme experiments upon himself.
What kind of experiments?
Who knows? Nervous shock, brain damage, pain and recovery. There's almost no limit to what my body can now endure. I could be the next Henry Head.
My God, Edgar. Did you learn nothing from your forays into folly?
I have, I swear. No more experiments on mortals. See? I said mortals. How quickly the mind adapts.
How do you feel since you changed?
Absolutely fine. Did you know I can determine the health of every patient or nurse just by looking at him? Fascinating.
Do you feel the hunger?
Yes. It's very peculiar, not like mortal hunger at all. It's like I'm never sated. Fortunately, blood is no rare commodity at Pembroke.
Have you taken a life yet, Edgar?
Don't you think that's a private matter? I would not ask you such an indiscreet question.
Will you continue as Pembroke's administrator?
Of course. I can help more than ever. And since I'm already dead, I can't get sick.
Are you not afraid Priwen will find you? Next time, they will do more than abduct and torture you.
I remain a man of peace. If things were to go awry, I would flee rather than slice them up as you would, my friend.
Have you seen Elizabeth? Has she passed this way since you returned?
No. And I'm terrified to see her again. I really am, Jonathan. She could very well tear me to pieces for what I did.
Goodbye, Edgar. I'm certain we'll meet again.
That was fascinating. But I wonder why that area is getting all... the docks. Why is that?
Die, vermin!
First place I need to go is over there, so I need to go through there. Alright, so what about... I keep forgetting.
Kill it! Die, leech!
If McCullum really drank the blood of King Arthur, then I may have found another vital ingredient for my recipe. Good evening, vampire hunter.
Are you here to mock me, Reed?
Not at all, McCullum. I am here because I need you.
Really? I'm intrigued. Speak up, then.
I need the blood of a king. The blood of Arthur. I'm certain you possess it, and I must have it.
The Guard's most sacred and precious relic. Why would you... You found Marshall's memoirs. I should have destroyed that book.
I need the antidote to save this city, McCullum.
It is within me to take your words as truth. I want to, but I must know more. What precisely are your plans?
A creature called a disaster is about to be unleashed. It falls upon me, as once it did Marshall, to stop it before the whole country is ravaged.
I should have destroyed that book. And yet... I wish I could join this battle alongside you. But this crusade is not mine to fight.
Do you not understand? We wanted the same thing from the outset. A means to end this vampire epidemic.
Not enemies. Maybe that is so. Take it then. I see no other hope for this city. If this is some trick, you will be damned, Dr. Reed.
Thank you. Can we speak more?
Indeed. Why not?
Why are you here?
The man who raised me after the brutal murder of my parents. He's buried here.
And who was this man?
Carl Eldritch. One-time leader of Priwen. He killed my father in front of me. Helped me hunt my brother Ain after teaching me how to kill leeches.
Were both your parents killed by vampires?
Yes. And yet worse. My father returned to Dublin a vampire, and tore out my mother's throat.
How are you adapting to immortality?
I feel so powerful it gives me shivers. I could be the greatest vampire hunter ever. Your worst nightmare, in truth.
Will you leave the Guard now that you are what you are?
Are we not creatures of deceit? I could hide my nature from my men, or name a successor. Go my own way. I know not yet my path.
Will you hunt me down?
Not for now. But you had better behave, Doctor, or I may change my mind.
Farewell, my progeny.
Do not stretch your luck, Reed.
Path. To go down this path until I reach that gate. And then from there.
Die, vermin!
This path right here. Yep.
Take its head! Fight for this!
Here, all I do is just
Turn stupid beast! This is not the place for you. The knife left! It's onto us! Hudson! Oh my god! Stop!
can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot use garlic, but there may be a substitute in the Pembroke Hospital drug storage.
Alright, so we're going to this little place again. The morgue. The morgue. A wonderful place. It's where they kept all the dead people. I might have to upgrade my health more, but the Berserk mode ultimate I like the most. It allows me to attack a lot more efficiently and faster. And the surgical equipment helps a lot too. Scythe, I think the damage output is pretty decent. It's not perfect though.
There it is. Insulin. Much more efficient than garlic against blood poisoning and sepsis, and much less dangerous for me. Thank you, Dr. Polescu. This must be a picture of the bomb explosion Dyson Delaney spoke of.
Alright. That's kind of weird. Shit. I know I was defeated mainly because I wasn't smart right there. I was watching the fucking shit on the side. Because apparently I found a bunch of, you know. Hopefully that didn't go away. That'd be bad. I don't want to have to redo all that. Please. Oh, good.
There's one of them! Die, vermin!
It's locked. It's locked.
Fear no evil. We do the Lord's work here.
Alright, let's exit.
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening to you, Doctor.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
How is the situation now that Dr. Swansea is back?
I'm impressed by the man. He was abducted, and now he's back happy as ever, helping the patients all night long. An example to us all.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I'm quite busy right...
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverley?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion. And I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
How is everything?
The hospital.
Thank you.
A month? A year?
You have...
Good evening, Doctor.
And good evening...
Goodbye.
I will not let you down.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Doctor.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
How are things?
He visited me soon after his return. He asked me if I'd agree to some experimental procedure. I said I'd think about it.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. Good evening, Doctor.
How is this?
I can't say.
What do you mean?
He used to stay in his office a lot. Now he tends to visit the patients more, but he smiles less.
Goodbye.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
This hospital seems
Good evening, Mr.
I'm okay.
But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
How are things?
Better, I suppose.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
Good evening, Doc.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
How can you be affected by the misery around you, and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reed. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Why?
Why not?
How can you be?
I could ask...
How are things?
I must admit, the situation is better.
Goodbye. Good evening.
I need blood, Doc.
Are things...
The vampire hunters have not come back. I hope this time.
Good evening, Mr. L.
Evening.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Is the situation...
I don't know.
How so?
Last night, someone approached me while I was sleeping. I didn't move. Not a muscle, but he was sniffing my neck. Just like Thelma does.
Are you sure it was Dr. Swansea?
I recognized his cologne.
What happened then?
Left without a word. Gave me the right fucking willies, it did.
Goodbye.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
So he's fucking around with everyone.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening.
Is everything all right now that Dr. Swansea is back?
The situation is hard, but Dr. Swansea promised me things will get better. He even said he'll take care of us all. And I believe him.
Goodbye. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening.
Goodbye. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
How has it been since Dr. Swansea came back?
Rumor says you saved him. I must say I'm impressed.
Goodbye.
Hey, Doc.
What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so mad, I threw away the knife she got me when we got married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'd be surprised if you managed to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
A lucky charm? I never would have taken you as the superstitious type.
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
How's the situation now that Dr. Swansea is back?
As shitty as always. People die.
I'll leave you.
Miss, please, I feel sick. Get over here now.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
Let's see what's going on here.
He's mine, sir! Filthy piece of shit!
About the presence of a female vampire in
Jonathan!
Oh, come on. Stop loading like that. Holy shit. I'm going to end this episode here and then restart it again just to do multiple episodes today so I can just keep playing. That way it lasts for the entire week and that way there's multiple episodes for each day. Thanks for watching the Crazy J Show. We'll be right back. If you want to like and subscribe, go right ahead. It's going to make this channel a little bit better. You'll be welcome to the Crazy Fam. And if you want to go ahead and hit that bell button like a damn crazy person, go right ahead. And go ahead and, if you want to support the channel more personal, visit our Patreon at patreon.com/crazyj. It will allow us to get more equipment, better shit, and be able to hire people later on for editors. Now, there's also special shit that you'll be able to access with the Patreon account. So, see you guys next time.